deep in the heart of Transylvania, Romania, a place already drenched in legends of vampires and ghosts, lies a forest so terrifying that even locals refuse to enter after sunset. A place where compasses spin wildly, where electronics fail, where shadows move. Even when there's no wind, this isn't a movie set. It's real. This is Hoia Baciu Forest, the most haunted forest in the world. It all began in the Icen Jubite Lickers. A local shepherd entered the forest with 200 sheep. Hours passed, then days. Neither he nor his flock were ever seen again. Search parties combed the area. No bones, no tracks, no traces. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. From that day, locals began calling it the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. But this was just the beginning. In Icen Jubite Lushabad, something even stranger happened. A military technician named Emil Barnia was hiking with friends near the forest's infamous clearing when he spotted something hovering above the trees. He pulled out his camera and captured what would become one of the clearest UFO photographs ever taken. The photos were studied by experts. No tampering, no double exposure. And yet, the government quietly classified the investigation. Now, even today, the original negatives have disappeared from public record. At the center of the forest lies a perfectly circular clearing. No trees grow there, no plants, just dry soil, as if the earth itself refuses life. Scientists took soil samples. They found no logical reason for why nothing grows. The nutrients were normal, the moisture balanced. And yet, every attempt to plant new life failed. Visitors describe strange sensations upon entering the circle. Sudden nausea, dizziness, a feeling of being watched. Some report their skin burning or hearing whispering voices that seem to come from inside their heads. At night, glowing orbs have been seen hovering over the circle. When approached, they vanish. No one knows what the clearing is, a UFO landing site, a portal, or something darker. One of the forest's most famous legends tells of a 5-year-old girl who disappeared inside Hoia Baciu. Police searched for weeks, no sign. 5 years later, she emerged from the forest. She hadn't aged a single day. Her clothes were the same, her hair untouched. She had no memory of what happened, only that she played with lights. Doctors couldn't explain it. Her DNA was normal, but her time wasn't. Since then, many have claimed to lose track of time inside the forest. Minutes stretch into hours. Hours vanish in seconds. Some hikers say their watches stop ticking entirely. Tourists who visit Hoia Baciu often take photos, smiling selfies, landscape shots, night footage, But when they return home and look closer, they notice something strange. Blurry human faces appear behind them. Figures in the mist, sometimes even themselves in the background, standing farther away, wearing the same clothes. Ghostly outlines of soldiers, farmers, and even children have been captured, none visible to the naked eye during the photos. In Arsène-Ligny-sur-Seine, a group of paranormal investigators set up cameras overnight in the clearing at Ar Shiti A Dem. One of their thermal cameras recorded a human-shaped heat signature standing motionless at the edge of the forest. When they went to check, no one was there. Their equipment malfunctioned for the rest of the night. All digital files were corrupted, except that one frame. Scientists have tried to study Hoia Baciu's magnetic field for decades. What they found shocked them. The forest produces irregular electromagnetic pulses that mimic brainwave frequencies, meaning the forest might actually be affecting human thought. Some say it's alive, a conscious energy that feeds off fear. Visitors have reported being called deeper into the woods, hearing voices that sound like loved ones, only to realize no one is there. A researcher once described it best. The forest doesn't haunt you, it studies you. Even in recent years, strange phenomena continue. In Artselin-Chaliot, a drone pilot captured footage of a massive circular shadow moving under the trees, even though there were no clouds above. Hikers report seeing tall humanoid shapes, almost translucent, walking between the trees. Locals say they hear children laughing at night, but no one lives near the forest. The Romanian government has quietly restricted parts of it, calling them conservation zones, but many believe it's to hide something deeper. Some paranormal groups have set up sensors and found sudden temperature drops as much as Arster's degrees in seconds. Others have heard screams echo through the trees when the forest is completely empty. So what is Hoia Baciu really? A natural magnetic anomaly? A gateway between worlds? Or simply a reflection of human fear? Skeptics say it's all coincidence, that soil and magnetism explain everything. But believers say the forest holds the memories of the dead, souls trapped between worlds. Some think it's ancient, a burial site where countless spirits still linger. Whatever it is, one thing is certain. Those who enter Hoia Baciu rarely leave unchanged. The trees of Hoia Baciu have stood for thousands of years. But maybe they're not just trees. Maybe they're witnesses. Maybe they're waiting. Would you dare to step inside and discover what the forest is really hiding?